Let's cut straight to it. This channel, INFJ blah blah, doesn't exist to help you optimize, hack your morning routine, or morph into some hyper-efficient life machine. Ever caught yourself thinking, why is every self-development space just another productivity boot camp with different wallpaper? Well, so have I. Instead, this is a place for those looping thoughts, the whirlpool of pattern recognition and emotional processing that's still running quietly in the background, long after everyone else has packed up and moved on. Now you might be wondering, wait, isn't reflection just another form of improvement? Not here. Reflection is the native language of the INFJ mind, not a tool for self-modification. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I sat in a workshop on maximizing productivity. All I could think about was the emotional residue of the last conversation I'd had, an endless spiral. That's the stuff we're exploring here, without shame or a checklist at the end. You probably know the INFJ stereotype: hyper-observant, deeply empathetic, loves a good metaphor. But here's the twist: I'm also part of a subset called twice exceptional. Twice exceptional, or 2E for short, means juggling high ability with neurodivergent wiring. Think of it like running the latest operating system on hardware that sometimes overheats. Pattern recognition, the INFJ's bread and butter, becomes a double-edged sword. On one hand, I see connections other people miss. On the other hand, sensory overload and executive dysfunction sneak in like surprise plot twists. Now, you might be asking, what does all this mean for relationships or work? For me, it means decoding micro-expressions at hyperspeed while sometimes missing the obvious social cue. I'm in my 40s, and I have lived and learned about social cues by observing and copy and pasting in my life. And if you've ever felt like your mind is running a simulation of every possible scenario while your body's stuck buffering in real time, you'll recognize the push-pull of being INFJ and neurodivergent. You might notice there's no face here. The voice? It's intentionally altered. Now some might ask, what's with the cloak and dagger? Are you hiding? Actually, it's the opposite. Privacy, for me, isn't a wall, it's an open door. By stripping away presentation and personality branding, we can get straight to the marrow of our ideas. Let's talk about paralanguage and persona. Paralanguage is everything about how we speak, except the words themselves. Persona, in psychology, is the mask we wear for the world. On INFJ blah blah, I want both set aside. Have you ever craved a space where you could just be messy, nonlinear, unfinished? That's the conflict most INFJs know. The longing for deep connection versus the pressure to perform. So, consider this podcast a quiet room at a loud party. If your mind is a labyrinth and the usual language doesn't quite fit, you're not alone here. This is your invitation to listen, reflect, and finally hear the monologue you always thought was yours alone. Take what resonates, leave the rest. This was INFJ blah blah. See ya.